The single best week to list your home in Dallas-Fort Worth is exactly 3 weeks away, and I've got the exact data that tells you what it's worth in dollars. Welcome to Jesse's weekly DFW real estate update. I'm Jesse Showalter. Let's get into it. Realtor.com just identified this April date as the optimal listing week for DFW sellers, and the numbers are specific. Texas just crossed a major inventory milestone that gives buyers more power than they've seen in years. And we've got a massive new master plan community in Grand Prairie you need to know about. 5,000 acres, 15,000 homes, and the road that just made it all move. Let's start with a story every seller in North Texas needs to hear right now. Realtor.com just released their annual best time to sell study. For Dallas-Fort Worth, their data points to one specific window, the week of April 12th. Here's what that window actually delivers for DFW sellers. 9 fewer days on market compared to listing at other times of year. Almost 24% more views on Realtor.com. Almost 15% fewer competing listings, meaning less competition from other sellers. And depending on your price tier, a potential $5,700 to $24,000 more at closing. That last number is worth sitting for a second. Why does this window work? Buyer traffic peaks in mid-April before the late spring rush. But if you wait until late June, national new listings surge nearly 40%. You get buried in the crowd. Hannah Jones, senior economic research analyst at Realtor.com, notes that in DFW, where inventory is more abundant than markets in the Northeast, sellers of well-priced, move-in ready homes still find real success in this window. It's not a guaranteed slam dunk, but it's the strongest timing opportunity of the year for local sellers. The buyers who are sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to drop, they're back in the market now. The window is open, but it won't stay open forever. April 12th is your target. And the reason buyers are back is this next story. Texas just crossed a threshold that most of the country hasn't reached. As of the end of February, Texas was one of only 9 states in the entire country with active home inventory back above pre-pandemic 2019 levels. The others include Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Nebraska, Tennessee, Utah, and Washington. Nationally, active listings rose almost 8% year over year as of February. The market, it's loosening, but not yet fully balanced by historical standards. Resi Club Analytics data shows DFW had the 4th largest increase in active inventory among the nation's 50 largest major metro areas over the past year. Realtor.com puts the DFW median list price at around $411,000, down approximately 1.2% year over year. If you're a buyer in North Texas right now, you have more selection, more time to decide, and less competition than you've had in years. But before anyone hears inventory above pre-pandemic levels and panics, analysts estimate DFW still has a 500,000 unit housing deficit from underbuilding between 2020 and 2024. This is a more balanced market, not a flooded one. And for buyers, balanced is exactly what you've been waiting for. That shift is exactly what a top real estate researcher at UT Arlington has been tracking. Dr. Sriram Villapuram, director of the Ryan Riley Center for Urban Land Utilization at the University of Texas Arlington, presented findings at the 2026 Real Estate Symposium earlier this month. His assessment: the DFW market has hit a turning point. After years of rapid growth, the market is transitioning from a frenzied seller's environment to something more balanced and slower. Home values across DFW softened around 5% in 2025. The forecast calls for prices to remain flat or decline slightly through mid-2026 as higher borrowing costs and slower economic growth continue to weigh on demand. Dr. Villapuram put it plainly: Higher interest rates combined with already high home prices reduce the pool of qualified buyers and keep monthly payments high. Wage growth is running around 3.1% year over year, still lagging behind housing cost increases. And while mortgage rates did ease from about 6.7% to 6.1% during 2025, they remain well above where they were before 2022. The bottom line here is not doom and gloom. It's more calibration. In a shifting market, strategy matters more than ever, which is exactly why the April window, the inventory data, and what you're about to talk about with mortgage rates all matter more this spring than they would in a hot market. Let's zoom out nationally before we get to rates. NAR just released February's existing home sales numbers. The headline, 4.09 million homes sold nationally on a seasonally adjusted annual rate. The median sales price is $398,000 and months of supply is at 3.8. NAR chief economist Lawrence Yun says the market is improving, but notes there is a long way to go before we're back to normal. Here's the gap in real terms. The pre-pandemic norm was approximately 5.2 million annual sales. We're still roughly 1.1 million short of that. And 2025 tied 2024 for the lowest sales pace since 1995. Pending home sales, a forward-looking indicator, did tick up 1.8% in February versus the prior month. That's a modest positive signal heading into spring. Now, the new construction headline is a rough one nationally, but the story it tells for DFW buyers is actually pretty interesting. January new home sales nationally came in at 587,000 on an annual pace, the slowest since October of 2022. That's 17.6% below December's rate. Joel Berner, senior economist at Realtor.com, called it a very disappointing result, pointing to affordability pressure and market uncertainty. But here's what that ugly number means for buyers in DFW right now. 64% of builders nationally are currently offering sales incentives. That's the 12th consecutive month above 60%. 37% of builders cut prices in March, with average reductions around 6%. And NAHB builder confidence sits at 38, below the neutral mark of 50 for the 23rd straight month. The translation is builders are competing for you. And I've got a tip at the end of today's update that will show you exactly how to turn that builder desperation into real savings. Let's get to mortgage rates. As of Tuesday, March 24th, when this video was recorded, the most recent reading from Mortgage News Daily is the 30-year fixed sits at 6.49%, down slightly from Friday's 6.53%. Here's the real honest picture of the past 3 weeks, because the story behind the number, it matters. In late February, the 30-year fixed briefly dipped below 6% for the first time since September 2022. Buyers were encouraged. Then the Iran conflict escalated. Oil prices climbed toward $100 a barrel, and rates pushed back above 6.5% last Friday. That's more than a half-point move in 3 weeks. 3 forces are driving rates right now. The Iran conflict, which is the single biggest variable. Oil prices and rates have been tracking closely, and market volatility moves with every new development from that region. The Federal Reserve, which held its rate steady at the March 18th meeting and now projects only 1 cut for all of 2026. And the 10-year Treasury yield, currently near 4.35%. When investors are nervous, they demand higher bond yields and mortgage rates follow. Here's a number I want you to hold on to, though. A year ago, this same week, the 30-year fixed averaged 6.67%. Today, it's 6.49%. You're in a better position than buyers were at this time last year. Not dramatically, but measurably. FHA buyers' rates today are 5.97%, still under 6%. Which matters for first-time buyers. And if you're buying new construction, builders are still actively buying your rate down into the 5s at closing. Fannie Mae and the Mortgage Bankers Association had both projected rates in the 6% to 6.2% range for 2026, though those forecasts predate the Iran conflict. Watch oil prices and watch the bond market. That's what's moving rates right now. Before we wrap, let's talk about something turning heads in South DFW. Provident Realty Advisors, the Dallas-based firm behind Preston Hollow Village and Tavolo Park, is building what may be the most ambitious master plan community in all of North Texas. It's called Goodland. It sits in Grand Prairie, south of US Highway 287 and the 360 Tollway, positioned between Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Mansfield, roughly 45 minutes from anywhere in the Metroplex. The scale here is significant. 5,000 total acres, 10,000 planned residences at full build-out, a projected future population of 50,000 people, and a projected taxable value of $5 billion. Active builders right now include Beazer Homes, David Weekley Homes, Grant Homes, Highland Homes, and History Maker Homes, with more expected as new phases open. Currently, 700 plus homes are completed with 280 under active construction. Prices span the mid 300s into 600s depending on product type. Townhomes, single family, active adult 55 plus, and gated custom options are all part of the plan. The amenity package is substantial. The Retreat, a $14 million amenity center, opens in 2026. There's a 25-mile trail network planned, 1,600 acres of preserved creek corridors, a stocked fishing pond, and a future town center designed as a walkable urban core with shops, restaurants, civic buildings, and a dance hall. This is described as a city within a city, not typical suburban sprawl. But here's why this week is the right time to highlight Goodland. The Goodland Parkway, a new 6-mile, 4-lane arterial road connecting Highways 360 and 287 directly into the community, recently opened. Road access is an infrastructure unlock. In a master plan community, that's when home value momentum accelerates. This isn't a future thing, it's happening right now. Grand Prairie has also committed $45 million in public infrastructure investment and has annexed a combined 2,400 acres into the city over the past year. The city has some serious skin in this game. All right, let's close with that tip I teased earlier. This one is for anyone shopping new construction right now. When most buyers negotiate with a builder, they ask for a price reduction. And I want to show you why that's almost always the wrong ask and what to say instead. Here's the math on a $400,000 home. A $10,000 price reduction saves you approximately $52 per month at today's rates. A 1-point permanent rate buydown, dropping your rate from 6.49% to 5.49%, saves you approximately $260 per month, every month, for the life of the loan. Same $10,000 from the builder, 5 times the monthly savings. And here's why builders prefer the buydown anyway. A price cut on one house lowers the comps for every other home in that neighborhood. It hurts their entire inventory value. A rate buydown is a cash at close incentive. It doesn't touch the purchase price, doesn't show up in the comps, and protects the builder's pricing across the board. They're almost always willing to give you the buydown. You just need to know to ask for it. So what should you actually say? You tell the builder's rep, instead of a price reduction, apply the same dollar amount to a permanent rate buydown through your preferred lender. Bonus, if rates drop and you refinance in 2026 or 2027, you're refinancing from the actual purchase price. The buydown served its purpose and you start fresh at the new lower rate. 64% of builders are currently offering incentives, so use that leverage wisely. All right, here's your big takeaway this week. The DFW market is shifting, and the data is clear about what to do with that. Sellers, April 12th is your window, and the numbers back it up. Buyers, you have more inventory, more leverage, and more time than you've had in years. And if you're looking at new construction, the incentives are real, but now you know how to ask for the right one. And that's it. That's Jesse's weekly DFW real estate update for the week of Friday, March 27th. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in North Texas, I would love to be a resource. No pitch, just a conversation. If you want to, book a free 30-minute call in the link in the description. And I will see you next Friday.